Things to Make You Think podcast. And the focus of my podcast is mental health, although because of a lot of things that we go through indirectly or directly affects our mental health, we'll be talking about pretty much everything. So nutrition, physical health, finances, education, and even sex, and just pretty much all things the human experience. So let's talk about it. Hey y'all, it's Shan. How y'all doing? Full disclosure before I start this, I literally recorded this whole podcast yesterday. Y'all know I like to be transparent. So I recorded this whole podcast yesterday. But as I was recording it, and when I kind of was thinking back at it, like throughout the day, I'm just like, I cannot publish that because the delivery just wasn't on point. Y'all know me. Sometimes I can stumble over my thoughts, which are expressed in my words. I'm stumbling over my words. And I feel like it be kind of making it seem like I kind of don't know. To me, when I think back and I listen to it, it's like kind of sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. And kind of like I'm like nonchalant about it. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it just wasn't delivering how I wanted to deliver. So, and a new thing I'm trying to do is be intentional. And the message that I'm trying to deliver is like, it's important. So, I don't want to be stumbling over my words. I kind of want the message to be clear and concise. You know what I'm saying? Like, receivable. I don't want people to have to like dissect what I'm trying to say. I would just want to try to say it as clear as possible. So yeah, I'm just recording this whole thing over so that y'all can better understand. Because I feel like people probably be like, what the fuck is she talking about? In the other one. So, yeah. Okay. So, but today's topic is going to be about the relationship between our gut and our mind. And obviously, if you listen to any of my previous podcasts, you know I'm an advocate for healthy habits, at least trying to form healthy habits. And I'm pretty sure I talked about the relationship between our eating habits and our emotional state, our mental state before, but this time I'm going to go more into depth. You know, sometimes I like to revisit topics, you know, when I get more information or whatever. So, yeah. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is why the relationship between our gut and our brain is so important. So to start off, we all know that food is our fuel, just as gas is the fuel for a car. Cars cannot run on gas without gas. Well, in this world, electricity. Cars can't run off without gas or electricity, and because even those cars you have to charge. So yeah. We can't run off of fuel. I mean, we can't run off of fuel. Like, we can't function off of, like, without eating. Like, we need food. That's food. We need food. That's our fuel. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll cease to exist if we do not eat. So that's why it's very important to understand the relationship between your gut and your brain. And I say that because the brain is the powerhouse of our bodies, our souls, our mental state. Like, it's the powerhouse, our physical state. It's the powerhouse of everything. Without a functioning brain, nothing's functioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, your heart could stop and your brain still be active. Once your brain dead, your heart cannot pump without help. Like, it you know, when people be in a vegetable state, soon as they get off of that heart pump or y'all know the device. I work in the medical field. I should know what the hell it is. Anyways, the device that keeps the heart pumping, as soon as you cut that off, it's over for the brain. You know what I'm saying? Because it's over for the person. Because the brain's already gone. This person cannot respond to you. You cannot talk to them. More than likely, they cannot hear you. The only thing not keeping this person alive is this machine. So once the machine's done, this person ceases to exist. So, but with your heart could stop, like I said, and you still be alive for an amount of time. For obviously not forever, it's a short amount of time, but you can live after your heart stops, but you cannot live after your brain stops. And that's why it's so important that we are mindful about what we're consuming, because what we eat fuels our brain. Like, that's what keeps us going. Like, how everybody knows how it feels to be hungry. Like, sometimes you're not thinking straight. Obviously, it can hurt if the hunger goes on too long. You get mad, etc., etc. So the relationship between hunger and your brain is very apparent. So that's why it's so important to keep in mind what you're consuming. And obviously, I'm not doubting, talking shit for nobody who don't always eat healthy, and it's okay not to always eat healthy, but moderation is the key. When you're over consuming unhealthy foods, your overall well-being is going to be thrown off. But if you're mindful about what you're eating and you're not always eating bullshit, and you just throw it in here and there, then you'll be okay. But obviously you'll be at the peak of your health if you cut all of that out completely. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's why it's so important. And, also, I don't feel like we understand how deep it is when it comes to our our eating habits and, our brain. Because according to Adam Smerling, I did some research. He's a writer for Bayside Psychotherapy, BaysidePsychotherapy.com.au. It's an Australian website. But he's saying bad eating habits change your brain. It activates the brain's reward system. Which is basically just like when you're feeling, and also this resonates with our emotional relationship to food. So when you're feeling a certain way, for example, and I look, let me just talk about me. I talk about this I'm not going to say all the time, but I mentioned before that I had recently got divorced. After I got divorced, I went through some other traumatic stuff. And I kind of went into a little bit of depression. And I found comfort in eating. That's how I gained some weight back. If you know me, that's how I gained some weight back. And in between that time too, my skin was breaking out. I gained weight. My mood was not the best always, really emotional. And I was just really in a bad state. So I understand, when they talk about how the relationship between our brain and not our brain, the relationship between food and emotions correlate. So when we have these emotional attachments to food, that, like he said, that activates the brain's reward system. Because we find comfort in food. Food is good. Good food's good. Healthy food. Healthy food is not always the best, but unhealthy food's good. But it's, as far as taste-wise, y'all know what I'm saying. So, we find comfort in eating unhealthy foods because when we eat unhealthy foods, it releases a happy hormone, which is dopamine, and I think a little bit of serotonin. So it releases that, which kind of starts to change the brain. It's like conditioning. If you don't know anything about, I don't feel like explaining all that, but conditioning, you can condition the brain, to function a certain way, like automatically. Like, quick breakdown, kind of like brainwashing too. Like a man could condition a woman by beating her constantly to believing that if she leave, that she can't leave, basically, or something bad will happen. He conditioned her to feel that way. So she will naturally be scared to leave. The same with food. We condition our brain to want food when we're in a certain emotional state, because when we're sad, that's the first thing we go to because it makes us feel happy. And when you're sad, you want to feel happy. Nobody wants to feel sad. And the easiest thing in reach is unhealthy food to make you feel happy. So then you get this attachment to food. And we don't realize that that's an addiction. Like, we sit up here, everybody talk about, crackheads this, cokeheads that. A lot of y'all motherfuckers be addicted to food. And let's be real here. That shit's damn near just as bad as any other drug. For real. American food, that is. Unhealthy food. Junk food. That shit's just as bad as any other drug. It affects your mood. Not, obviously not to the extent of like crack or something like that, or cook like something like that, but unhealthy eating habits definitely affect your mood and it fucks up your mental state. Okay? I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, a lot of y'all's crackheads for real. It's like, but I mean, when you have unhealthy eating habits, it's damn near like you can't talk about nobody being addicted to nothing when you're addicted to food and you don't have the mental strength to, or you could, I'm not going to say you don't, because you could obtain the mental strength, but in those moments, you're not stronger than your habit of unhealthy food, because the food's unhealthy, it's not good for you, but everybody's excuse is, oh, we all gonna die anyway. And that's another thing, people like to give themselves excuses for their bad habits to make them feel better about it, because they know that it's not right. Because if you didn't feel like it wasn't right, you wouldn't feel like you needed to give an excuse. But you give an excuse. You're addicted to food, which is unhealthy food, which is just as bad as any other drug. And it said that it's just as bad. Yeah, and it's just as addictive. Food is just as addictive as crack, coke, and people don't like to say it, but marijuana becomes addictive too, because you're conditioning your brain to, some people can't eat without marijuana because and this is how it starts. Food tastes better when I'm high. I like to get high before I eat. So now your ass can't eat unless you high. You don't have an appetite. You condition your brain to not have an appetite until you're high. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. The proof is in the pudding. Okay? So, and that's why it's so hard to stop. That's why it's just hard to stop smoking crack as it is to stop eating unhealthy. I just want y'all to listen to that. Okay? Because while people be having so much to say about crackheads, why don't you just stop? So much to say about cokeheads, and people in their addictions and everything like that. Food is just as bad. And your ass is addicted to food. So you can't talk shit because you don't have no control either. Or else you would be eating a better diet. Now I ain't talking about shit for like, some people just go through shit. Like for me, when I was going through my little depressive state, I knew it wasn't healthy for me, but I didn't give a fuck because it was making me happy. And I just wanted some type of, like you said, like I was saying before, reward. I wanted to feel better, and food does the job because some food be fire. Y'all know what I'm saying. That's why people be dancing when they be having food, because that shit make you feel good, okay? Good food. Unhealthy, good food. But, but yeah, but regardless, it's still an addiction. Like, and y'all just really need to understand that. And I'm going to talk about that, in the end. Well, you know what? Let me just talk about it now. Fuck it. Freak it. I need to stop cussing. I posted this on my Facebook, Atomic Habits. In this book, just a little break-in. In this book, he talks about James Clear, the author. Author. He basically just talks about how wanting to change has to start from within. Like, you have to change your identity. You have to convince yourself that you are this other person that you want to be for you to get there. You can't, like, for example, people will set goals to lose a certain amount of weight, right? And once they reach that goal, they feel accomplished. Boom, I lost the weight. But healthy eating is now out the door for real, because you reach the goal. You're going to reward yourself with some good food. And now you're feeling good. You're at your goal weight. You're feeling good. You feel like you can eat whatever you want, whatever. And then people gain weight back again. So that's not the ideal way. It depends. If that's only your goal is to just reach a certain weight and then go back to whatever you want, then boom. That's good for you. There you go. But if you want to change your life, like your lifestyle, you want to be, eating healthy and being mindful about how you eat. If you want that to be your identity, you have to start thinking that way. And one thing that he says to suggest to do is, like, if you're in a store or if you're hungry and you're about to go to the store, you're about to go to eat, ask yourself, what would a healthy person eat and what would an unhealthy person eat? Do you want to identify as a healthy person or an unhealthy person? A healthy person is going to make a healthy choice. An unhealthy person is going to make an unhealthy choice. You see what I'm saying here? And obviously, when I say these things, you don't have to beat yourself up and be strict on yourself and, oh, I need to be healthy. I need to do this. It's okay to fall short sometimes, but just make sure you keep it in the back of your mind what the ultimate goal is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, for me, like, I always kept in the back of my, even when I was in my unhealthy eating stage, it was always in the back of my mind that I was a healthy person. So all I just had to do was tap into that, and I'll be cool. I'm on day 4 of a smoothie cleanse. The mental strength is there, baby, because I did a smoothie cleanse before. I did a 7-day smoothie cleanse. So I feel like I identify as a healthy person, because even when I am eating unhealthy, I don't really eat like burgers and fries and half a pound cake, and like, I don't eat like that. Like, I'll eat out a lot. And, when you eat out, a lot of the times those foods, one meal is 1,000 calories. That's half of your freaking daily limit. And that's only one meal. You still got 3 meals to go. So then you eating 3 meals, you drinking juice, you might snack here and there. You up 4,000 calories. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to eat unhealthy, but you just got to be mindful. Keep it in the back of your mind. Who do I really want to be? And for me, like, I'm not finna live my life fighting diseases and being uncomfortable, and I don't want to live like that. I want to be, and I know how it feels, I know the difference between my mood, how I feel, like, how light I feel on my feet, bloat, that plays a huge part when you eating unhealthy and when you not. My mood is way better when I'm eating healthy. I have way more energy when I'm eating healthy. Like, I have mad energy. Like, yesterday I was up all day. I worked all night. The previous day before that, I got up around 6 o'clock. I worked all night, went to the gym, had a long ass day, didn't go to sleep till like 5:30, woke up at 10, went to work, and now I'm here. And I still have energy. Like, I'm not even tired, and I only got 5 hours of sleep, but I did go into a deep sleep, so I'm pretty sure I did a REM sleep, so, it was sufficient enough sleep for me, and I got, energy. I'm feeling good. Like, so, yeah. Break them bad habits. I suggest reading this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I suggest reading that if you want to change any habit, really. But, the topic at hand is health. Okay, let's move on. So, let's talk about how our bad eating affects our mental state. So, first of all, our bad eating affects our mental state. It makes us more emotional, more angry, and it puts us at more risk of mental disorders like depression, bipolar disorder, personality disorder. Like, when you have bad eating habits, like, you're fucking with your mental and, definitely putting yourself at risk of going over the deep end. Especially if you live in, like, you come from a family with a history of mental health, you're definitely more at risk. So it's important to definitely take care of you, and that's just with any type of disease, hypertension, diabetes, cancer. If your family has a history of that, keep that shit in mind, because those traits can carry on. Even if it's not dominant, it can definitely be recessive in your genes, and you can still hold the trait, but it may not be dominant, but you can definitely activate it, putting yourself at risk when you have this bad eating. Like, if you continue on with bad eating diet, like, I'm stumbling over my words. When you continue eating bad, like, for long periods of time, eventually that shit's gonna catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so I wanted to reference this article real quick, because I was, doing some research over there. And I just wanted to talk about this article because he talks about, and you know what, I'm mad because I threw away the first page because it really didn't have nothing on it, but the author of this article. But anyway, it's on health.harvard.edu. I'll have the link in the description for you to check it out if you want to. But it says your brain is always on. It takes care of your thoughts and your moving, your breathing, your heartbeat, your senses. It works 24/7, even while you're asleep. So that pretty much goes along with what I was saying. Like, our brain is the powerhouse. Like, that motherfucker's always working. Like, always. Even if our heart stops for a little bit. And it says, this means your brain requires, like, a constant supply of fuel. Like I was saying before. And the fuel comes from the food that we eat. And just like a car, like I said before, if you're putting regular gas in a car that requires premium fuel, you will mess up that damn car. And that's the same with us. If you're putting bad food in your stomach, which fuels your brain, you will mess up your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out there. You just gotta be wanting to seek that information and understanding, because I always say stuff like this is common sense, but I guess it's really not common sense. But I feel like it should be a mutual understanding that these things make sense. Like, this shit is ideal and it's important. And people just really don't hold it to the standard that they really should. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like people will be out here with all types of diseases and still eat bad, have cancer, still be smoking. Like, people just don't care. Like, and it's because they're letting their brain win. Like, they're letting their habits win. They're letting their habits drag them around. They're not taking control. You gotta take control. Like, you gotta take control. You always have a choice. Always have a choice. But it also says, put simply, what you eat directly affects the structure, the grooves in your brain, and function of your brain, and ultimately your mood, like I said before. And I got the expensive car metaphor, analogy, whatever, from this article as well. So yeah, and it goes on to say multiple studies have found a correlation between a diet high in refined sugars and impaired brain function, and even worsening of symptoms of mood disorders such as depression. And this is from Harvard again, so they ain't talking no bullshit. This is definitely from a very reputable school, smart students, smart teachers. Y'all know what's up. And it really don't, even besides the school being reputable, it's, I hate to say it, but I feel like it's common sense. Like, we all know how we should be eating. Like, it's in the Bible. For those of us who are spiritual and believe in a higher power, how do animals eat? Like, most animals in their natural state, they be eating herbs and they be fine. We're animals. We need herbs. We'll be fine. And what's crazy is there's also herbs in the ocean. Those fish and shit, they really need herbs too. But anyways, so let's talk about Dr. Sebi, first of all. Oh, wait, no. I wanted to reference something, though. In reference to food in America. Food in America, specifically. So, you got unhealthy eating, then you got unhealthy eating in America. Okay? Look at, I'm going to do audio and a video of this, but, like, for those of you watching the video, if you look at this picture, you can see how much is in American French fries at McDonald's, how many ingredients compared to the United Kingdom. A lot of food, and y'all already know, foods in America are banned in other countries. And yet we consuming this shit like it's nothing. Meanwhile, we know it's cancerous. Crazy. Crazy as hell. That's because people be letting their brain win. And the government, they want control over you. They got control over you. Your money, all that shit. And they do it by the food. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all ain't in your right mental state. But, some of the things that are banned in other countries is GMOs, that, genetically modified organisms, which a lot of shit has. And that's why people be trying to throw non-GMO on stuff. Non-GMO. So they act like they standing out. And they probably still got GMO and they goddamn ingredients. Synthetic food dyes. I know y'all always hear about people talking about red dye number 40 and how unhealthy it is for people, which is in a lot of candies, juices, sports drinks, baked goods, sweets. It's in all that. You know what I'm saying? All this shit is unhealthy. Some other things that are banned: BHA, BHT, which are man-made antioxidants that are in cereals, dehydrated potatoes to increase shelf life. Dough conditioners. Like, there's so many and this is just one random list from foodrevolution.org. Like, random list, just all these freaking herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, synthetic hormones. Like, so many different things are in the food that we eat that are banned in other countries, which tells you how goddamn unhealthy it is for us. Like, it's crazy. We gotta start. I hate saying wake up, but people really need to wake up when it comes to their health. I mean, I really don't care about the political stuff, the aliens, none of that, but at least for your own body, mental health, physical health, wake the fuck up, okay? Like I said, even if you're not eating healthy every day, start by eating healthy 1 time a day, 2 times a day. Keep getting on until you can be as healthy as you can be, so you can live as long as you want to be. And in reference to how these banned ingredients are in America, but yet we're eating it, it shows, this is proof, because a lot of the foreign people I meet are way kinder than a lot of Americans. And shit, America was on the travel advisory list because of all these goddamn mass shootings. People losing their mind. Why they losing their mind? Hmm? What's their diets like? Hmm? I mean, hello. You know what I'm saying? But like I was saying, a lot of people that I met are foreign. Some of the people I talk about is before, but when I was working in Kansas, I had friends from Asia. I had my nail tech I made friends with. She was cool as hell, super kind, super down to earth. And we actually had some relatable experiences, which is crazy to me because like I come from the hood in America and in Pittsburgh, and she's like from a whole different country, from Asia and everything, and we shared experiences. It was crazy, but she was so sweet, so kind. I met somebody from Chile, Dominican Republic, and Venezuela, and these people were very kind. And obviously there is bad people all over the world, but like the people from these countries, a majority of them are kind. And I want to say like our diets are completely different, and I feel like that's the golden distinguisher between Americans and other countries, and our personalities and our moods and our mindsets. Like, you see how other countries be talking so much shit on Americans, and what is the big difference? Our diets. I feel like that's what makes it so different. Our diets. It's crazy. But yeah, let's get into talking about Dr. Sebi. If you don't know who Dr. Sebi is, he's a herbalistic healer who's known to have cured AIDS, lupus, blindness, herpes, diabetes, and just a lot of these fatal diseases. Well, herpes ain't fatal, but diabetes is fatal. Lupus, blindness ain't fatal either, but you know what I'm saying here. There are huge changes in your life, to your body's makeup, and he healed people with those things. So he was born in Honduras, in 1933. His real name is Alfredo Bowman, and he actually died August 2016. So not too long ago. So what made me want to start talking about him was, well, first of all, so I'm on my healthy journey or whatever. So I was just like, I need to start getting my shit together. And my cousin, who actually, studied him or whatever, and she's like vegan or vegetarian, one of them. And I could just see the difference in her mood, her personality, her mind, when she went from eating how she was eating before to being more mindful and a herbalist. She eats herbs and drinks her herbs, whatever. And I could just see the shift or whatever. So it's just like, it's very evident, especially when it comes to your mind. So about Dr. Sebi, so it was an interview in 2001 by Ramona Rachel Glittens on Ramona's Roundtable. I'll put the link in the description. And he just, talks about how he had diabetes, asthma, obesity. He said he was insane. He had insanity. And the Mexicans cured him with herbs, and it inspired him to go seeking more information about that. And he started to become passionate about it or whatever, and he just followed his heart or whatever, and he knew this is something that he needed to do. So he's just like, if I'm healed, like, we need to tell people about this. So he did what he needed to do. He became a herbalistic healer, and it just makes so much sense to me. Like, as much as people might try to be like, oh, it's full of shit, Of course, our medicine comes from the earth. Of course. We are inhabitants of the earth. Of course, the earth provides us medicinal properties through the food that is produced from the earth. And obviously, you know, when a food's modified, whether it's from the earth or not, it can, you know, change. Like, it could be bad for you now. Like, you know, you can make potatoes bad for you, even though it's something to come from the earth. And a lot of foods, too, even stuff that is grown is man-made. Hybrids, stuff like that, you know. Modifications or whatever. But, yeah. So, yeah, he was talking about how he was angry and sick and everything. And then, you know, once he was healed, all that changed. He no longer had obesity. It's actually really small. If you watch the video, he's a small person. He used to be obese. He don't have diabetes or whatever. Well, he didn't. And he just, like, you could just tell by his mood, he's definitely a happier person too. And this is somebody who's mindful about what they consume. And like I said, obviously, you know, he, you know, didn't always eat the perfect diet, but he still was mindful of his food, what he was consuming or whatever. And so I was reading another article from the American Psychological Association about gut bacteria. And it says, gut bacteria produce an array of neurochemicals that the brain uses for regulation of psychological and mental processes, including mood. And I'm using these from completely different articles, you know what I'm saying? And they're all saying the same thing. Reputable people, too. And it's believed that 95% of the body's supply of serotonin, a mood stabilizer, is produced in the guts, which also backs up Dr. Sebi's claims. So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. What does this say? Oh, okay. So then, all right. Says the same thing, and it's a completely different article. It says serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps regulate sleep and appetite, mediates moods, and inhibits pains. Since 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gastrointestinal tract, and your gastrointestinal tract is lined with 100 million nerve cells, it makes sense that the inner workings of your digestive system don't just help you digest food, but guides your emotions, which guides your emotion to food. And then this food inhibits these neurotransmitters from sending these hormones to your brain, you know, that's supposed to make you happy and in a good mood. And you start to fall into these depressions. You're starting to fall into these bad moods because the food that you are consuming is fucking with the hormones that need to be sent to your brain. And you're also not consuming the right nutritional intake that your brain needs to function properly. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Harvard, American Psychological Association, Dr. Sebi, like, y'all gotta really seek the information and apply it to your lives. So, yeah, like, these articles really just back up what Dr. Sebi was talking about. And another thing that he talks about is how black folks basically are the blueprint for healing the world. Because we're able to, you know, he was just saying how we have so many obstacles that we had to overcome, and we still push through and dominate. The fastest woman in the world, black. Dr. Sebi, a healer, black. You see all these great athletic people who are black, make great music, black. You know what I'm saying here? Like, come on now. Black people are definitely the blueprint, but y'all knew that because we ain't the ones, well, some of them are, but people getting lip fillers and surgery to be shaped and look like us. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Also, I will add a list of some alkaline foods because Dr. Sebi talks heavily about alkaline foods and how that's basically, you know, the basis of a healthy gut is to consume alkaline foods. And I'll put some in the description or whatever, but obviously y'all can look up what y'all want to look up, but I'm going to put some in the description as well. So now I want to talk about Abelardo Guerrero. This is a man who met Dr. Sebi and who formed a relationship with him, and Dr. Sebi ended up healing his sister from lupus. So this is somebody who, and he also said, you know, he knows people, celebrities who Dr. Sebi healed from AIDS. And obviously, this is not going to be something that's headline and everything like that. They ain't blowing this shit up. And y'all already know why. I don't need you to go into details about that. But they will never blow shit up like that because then they're going to lose control. I'm going to put his book in the description as well. Abelardo Guerrero, he has a book about the time he spent with Dr. Sebi. Yeah, so he wrote a book about that, and I don't know this. So the interview that I'm referring to is with Tasha Mack, and this was in 2020. He talks about trying to make a documentary with Nick Cannon. I'm gonna have to look that up. I really didn't look it up yet. I don't know if it's out yet or if it's still in the works. So I'm gonna look that up. Y'all should look it up too. But he talks a lot about, you know, Dr. Sebi and that documentary as well. So yeah, Dr. Sebi healed Abelardo's sister from lupus. Abelardo, when he talks about it in the interview, he gets emotional. You know, he's just like, you know, one day he found out, you know, that his sister had lupus and that she wasn't going to live past 2015. And obviously, you know, he's like, I don't want to lose my sister. You know, I'm not ready to bury my sister. So he went out to seek for answers. But the answers, like, according, like, if you watch the video, the answers really came to him. And I just feel like things just be so aligned. And I say that because I want to say he was talking about his sister and an ad popped up of Dr. Sebi. And in this ad, Dr. Sebi was talking about the different things he could heal: sickle cells, AIDS, herpes. And the last thing he said was lupus. And what does Abelardo's sister have? Lupus. So it's just like, you know, it's the signs be there if you looking for them and you pray. And this man definitely said he prayed and the signs be there. So he said he went to go find out who Dr. Sebi was, built a relationship with him, and he healed his sister from lupus. And she, you know, according to this video in 2020, she was still alive at this time. Obviously, I didn't look up if she's still alive right now. I should have did that. But she was still alive at this time. So she lived past 2015. So Dr. Sebi, I don't know. He was really that guy. Okay. But moral of the story is, my raggedy notebook. Moral of the story is, it's completely important for us to keep in mind what we're consuming and how often we're consuming it. I feel like y'all really got to stop saying, and it's not even just about, okay, we all gonna die anyway, but don't you want to live a quality life? And don't you want to be able to love and enjoy the people around you? If you're not consuming a balanced diet, and one that serves your brain right, you're never going to be able to really enjoy life. You're not going to be able to enjoy family. A lot of people have tempers and all of this. And if y'all don't think this is because of y'all food, y'all crazy. And like I was saying before, how food has a tight relationship with emotions. Our emotions also have a tight relationship with our habits, and our habits have a tight relationship with shit like rewards, watching certain things, eating certain things that are not good for us. And when you keep consuming bad things, whether it's something you're consuming via TV, music, all of this shit is changing your brain. And I just don't understand how people can, you can't complain about being depressed or always being sad or things not going your way. You can't complain about this stuff when you're not taking care of your powerhouse, your brain, through your gut. And maybe people don't understand or know the correlation between our gut and our brain, but that's why I'm here. So tell a friend to watch this video and watch other videos and seek the information so that y'all people can understand how important it is to consume a balanced and good diet. And like I said before, nobody's saying that you have to change overnight. Nobody's saying that you need to have the perfect diet. But like I said a million times, be mindful of the things that you're consuming, because it is greatly correlated with your mental stability. And your mental stability is it's your overall being. And our brain is how we connect to people, to our children, to our friends, to our family. So it's important to have a healthy brain if you're going to maintain healthy relationships. You know what I'm saying? And y'all might be like, oh, this don't got this to do with this, and this don't got it. Like, look, keep on living how you want to live. I'm just here to send a message. Whether you receive it or not, it's up to you. But I really hope that you do, because I feel like if more people eat better, we can make the world a better place. Like, for real. Like, just like I was thinking, like, I really want to help people in Africa and send over some food and just figure out a way to help them, because there's so many people who have the means to help people in Africa, even if it's just to send over $100,000 worth of food every other month or year. There's people out there who can do that who don't. I feel like I would be one of those people. And I know it's just like, oh, you might say this before you get the money, but when you get any money, you're going to be a different person. But that's the thing. I'm trying to heal my mind and my soul before I even become rich, so that when I do become rich, I'm able to better handle my money, and I'm going to give back, because at the end of the day, I just want to do as much as I can to help people in the world. And if I can make an impact, then I'm definitely going to freaking do that, because that's what the world needs. Like, we don't need more negative shit. We don't need more bullshit. We don't need, just another rich person just spending money on whatever, on dumb shit. Because you got all these people who be spending money on stupid shit when there's people who are hungry in different countries. And obviously, we can't tell people what to do with their money. We can't control anything. But at the end of the day, like, we all know we all going to die. So why not help another person? Once you die, you're doing all this for this money. And once you die 10, 15 years later, ain't nobody even going to be thinking about your ass. Like, people might be benefiting from the fruits of your labor, but they might not, you might not be even a thought anymore. Why not make an impact? You know what I'm saying? But alright, I'm just rambling. I'm glad I got to do this over, because it's actually shorter than the first one, and I feel like the message is more clear. So if you're listening, please like this podcast, whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Music, or I think I'm on Amazon Podcasts as well. Obviously the links will be in descriptions, but please like this and share it, and give me some feedback if you want to, and also reach out to me if you want to be on the podcast. I'll leave the link for my Instagram and the Facebook page. You can reach out to me. We can link up, talk about some things. I like to talk, y'all know. But yeah, And I hope y'all enjoyed this. I was really excited about talking about this because I'm on my fourth day of my smoothie cleanse, and I'm so proud of myself. And I feel amazing, like so amazing. And it's just crazy how much of an impact food really have on us and our overall health, our mood, our energy, and everything. And I just want y'all to really understand that, how important it is, because we got to get this together, people. But all right, I'm probably about to go to sleep hopefully soon, so I get some sleep before my kids come home. But yeah, like the podcast, share it. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed listening. Bye.